Looking at the computer screen here, I'm planning a trip to Natchez Trace. It's 440 miles. Goes from Nashville all the way down to Mississippi. But we're gonna do maybe a little over 100 miles of it today. To a campground, and I'll be boondocking at that campground. This whole trip's basically boondocking away, but yeah, looking forward to going on a Natchez Trace. I'll show you some sights. Mississippi.
For 43 miles, continue straight on.
Tupelo, Mississippi, 169 miles. We're not going to go quite that far today. We are going to go to Natchez Trace Campground and boondock. Way here, halfway, there is a waterfall trail, and I would like to get that done before we hit the campground. Meanwhile, enjoy the drive. Alright, for our first stop on the Natchez Trace. The first stop is a National Scenic Trail. Of course, restrooms. Kind of a welcome area. This is welcome. Natchez Trace Parkway is designed to encourage exploitation of the history and beauty of the Old Southwest. But yeah, here's Leaper's Fork. We just went through there. Of course, we're not going all the way to Mississippi, but we'll get definitely 100 miles in today. Alright guys, here we're at Bakersfield Overlook. Another one near Jackson Falls. But here is an overlook that's a little closer. Sign's kind of worn out. Working in harmony environment. Can you hear the frogs? It's like a pond, and then there's a creek down here. Well, not a creek, but that should be the Duck River. Duck River runs a little along the scenic drive. Eventually it crosses the Tennessee River. There's the road, so we're right off the scenic drive. I love that sound. Roman Hills farmland. Jackson Falls, our next spot. It's just down the road. Okay, so here we are, just down the road from the last point for Jackson's Falls. The wind isn't too bad on the camera here. Steep trail, 900 feet long, along the Duck River overlook. 1.5 mile. Trail leads to a viewpoint 300 feet, 3 stories above the Duck River. Well, that's a great view of the Duck River. So there's a trail that takes you to the overlook, just to the left. And then the waterfalls that way. That's kind of neat that it's paved. Just maybe I can hit that on the way out. We'll see. Then up here is your bathrooms, picnic area. What a great place to picnic with that view. Wow. And again, it's January. Can you imagine what this looks like in spring, summer, fall? Got places to barbecue. These rocks. They got this one right on the edge. Picnic right on the edge. Probably not wise if you have kids. So here we're at the phosphate mine. Approximately 40 miles from the parkway, passes through a region of limestone and rich phosphate. The abandoned mine shafts and limestone. Not too far of a walk. Let's check it out. And it seems like the main trail comes to an end, but then it goes into a little trail. And you're kind of on your own to see old settlers. But here's the mine. If I don't fall, here's the mine. And it goes back in here. Wish I had more light. But kind of give an idea. Someone's coming in, but there's literally a cave down there. And you might be able to crawl. Opens up just a little. But here's that limestone. We've all seen limestone, but it's real brittle. Pretty cool. Not too far off the road. Hear the cars. Head back. I'm at Fall Hollow. It's supposed to have some waterfalls that are within walking distance. Literally wraps around and heads down so you can view the falls from the top. At the campground, state park, monument. So here's the monument and the cabin. If you can go inside, yeah, it's locked. As of now, it's closed. Due to winter, I'm sure. That's the Grinner's house, cabin. Who Lewis met up with, I believe. He came monument. It says he took his own life. I don't know for sure, but pretty historic. Little Swan ahead, campground to the right. Looks like a bunch of spots open. It's great. Let's drive through here, shall we? Oh, paved roads, paved lots. That's great. Restaurants, trash. Most look pretty level. Site 26. Got things rolling here. Got a fire going. Always good to have a fire. Just making sure I have everything ready before dark. Again, this is the first time I've been self-efficient just on the Roadtrek itself. So I'll be using a heater tonight because it's supposed to get cold. So I'll probably run the generator for a little while. I just worried about my battery. I'm not solar. But let's get some light in here. There's my charge right there. It's all good. Got my LEDs. And yeah, computer's juiced, everything's good to go. But I'll probably just leave one LED on tonight, maybe that one, and should be okay. They don't take up a whole lot of juice, but gonna get some food ready here soon. This is my system here because I am winterized, so I have no flowing water, only because it's January, but we're having unusual weather, so we're not freezing yet. But this is what I use. I just use a regular tap. I can wash hands or do a dish, whatever I have to do, and then I can just empty that. That way no water's going down in my lines. And as far as the restroom, I can either use the restrooms inside or I could use this, but I would have to do the bag thing over the toilet. And it'll be dark shortly. Enjoy the fire. And then tomorrow I'm going to go down by Swan Creek, which is just down from the campground, then start working my way back to Nashville. But yeah, it's been a fun little trip so far. Friends, we're back and we're steaming up, making some breakfast here. Had these last night. 50% less sugar, quicker oatmeal. All you do is bring this to a boil. Yeah, I think I can do this one-handed. Make sure I always check the lid isn't hot. pour it to the line. Maybe just before. Let that cool off. Turn the propane off. Yeah. And then you just stir. Stir until it gets thickened. So you bring it to boil and add it in. I think it's like half a cup of water. And you can also do it in the microwave too. But with boondocking, I'd have to turn on the generator. So yeah, let this cool off and thicken. Last night was a success. I made the bed up today. I had a full setup yesterday, which does go into a king. Just because I didn't want to be near the windows, because there's a little breeze that comes in a little bit. It's a little cold by the windows. But anyways, here, let's show you over here. I had to use the buddy heater last night because it did get down into mid-30s. And boy, it heats up good. I ran it until I basically couldn't stand it anymore. And of course I had the vent cracked open like I do now whenever using propane. But it works like a charm. Used it for a couple hours, turned it off, and then this morning when it was kind of cold I turned it on again. I think I got about 4 hours out of it. And there's my Schumacher. Talked about that. That's a great backup. Besides the camper battery, it's a great backup for charging your USB devices. It's got 12 volt. And it's got AC hookups here. And this is what's left of my charge because I did some work on the computer last night, so I'm at 50%. And then while traveling, I also have a Bestec. And again, I can do AC or I can do USB ports. It's probably a little overkill, but it works great. You can even run a fan off of that thing. Oh, as well as your battery pack. The Schumacher, I've ran a fan 2 nights in a row. Just a small little, what are they, 5-6 inch fans. And it may be used 40% of the battery, 50%. So great investment. You know, obviously I have the house battery here, and had an LED light on last night, and yeah, I mean I'm still good. Let's take outside. It's a nice, brisk, cool morning. And I didn't have anybody here last night. I had some people drive through, but this is the second loop, so it's a little further away. But I have a vintage camper guy over here. He had a drone. I got a little bit of footage of that. And of course, this is the way out. And of course, you can camp along the side there. I'll have a video for that too, where I just run through. And then there's your restrooms. And again, this is a no power, no water campground, but it is absolutely free. And there's one light, and the only light comes from that restroom. And they do have power and water there, obviously. So if you need to use a blow dryer or maybe even partially charge something, I guess you could do that. But yeah, all the sites have picnic tables and fire rings. This is site 26 that I'm at. Most of the sites are pretty level too. But yeah, for free, can't beat that. I did talk to the camp host and she said it's busy spring and fall. So she says obviously this is a good time. If not, I guess summer. She said it gets a little buggy here, but Ain't no bugs today. I think they're all frozen. So I'm gonna head over to, I think it's Swan Creek, which is just down from here, and then head back to Nashville after I eat breakfast. Anyway, I wanted to share this with you. It was a success. First time boondocking. I'm gonna be doing more of this because, well, it's free. It's free. Until next time, guys. Peace, rock and roll. Peace, rock and roll. Bye.